Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. I hope everyone is doing okay. Well, it was really hot today, but I survived. I decided to burn my candles. I thought these were expensive at $2.99, but now I think these are actually scented. So now I think I got my, these are some kind of Asian candles. I think these are burned around the Chinese New Year, so I'm burning mine now. Okay, if some of you are like me and you watch prepper videos, I think the preppers are one of the things in the U.S. that makes us strong and resilient. Some of them are saying, I have peppermint tea. Some of them are saying something is coming, but they don't know what. I think I know what is coming. It's a combination of the fact that I know as far back as about 1854, and my family came from Switzerland to Canada to Missouri to Utah, most of it on foot. And so I know what they did. So not only do I think I know what's coming, I think I know what to do. So the problem with prepping, and this is what the preppers say too, if a bad depression or something worse hits us, the depression was 10 years. So everybody went without during the depression. My family had farms. My mom's family had a ranch, but it was anything but easy, actually. It was pretty damn miserable. So, okay, I think I know what's coming, and it's not good. Number one, pay more, get less. Okay, we're seeing that already. So what is the solution? Well, what I'm trying to do now is trying to go without money. What can I do that's going to make it possible for me to exist without money? Well, I have to have money, but as much as I can, I want to exist without money. Drastic increase in homelessness. When I was a kid, so I'm 70, so say when I was a kid, say I was 8, 10, nobody was homeless. And then when the hippies came along, every once in a while, you would see somebody in very drastic condition from doing drugs. But generally, there's no such thing as homelessness. Okay, grid down. Number 3. So 2, drastic increase in homelessness. You might think, well, you are a prophetess of doom. Okay, this is just what I think is going to happen. Grid down. Okay, are we seeing any other places in the world that are experiencing grid down? Yes, and I don't want to tell you what it is and where it is because I'll be demonetized. So, number 1, no water. That means no sewage and no trash if the grid goes down. No food because the gasoline won't be, the stores won't be open. No food. You'll have to go, you'll be at the mercy of some kind of food lines or something. They'll dispatch the food to you, like in China. Okay, no gasoline. Okay, how about grid down electric cars? At least with gasoline, you can store gasoline. And so you want to store enough gasoline so you can evacuate someplace with water. So I know fairly close to here 2 places. One is Elko, Nevada, and one is Mesquite, Nevada. So the water runs off from the Utah mountains, and then the water, there's mountains in Elko, Nevada that, there's water. So you can survive a lot, but the problem with Elko is there's a lot of snow, and that's where my mother, speaking of hardship, my mother's mother froze to death, yes. And then Mesquite, Nevada is the desert, which is very miserable, but you probably could survive. Okay, breakdown of the transport of food. So that means the food doesn't get to the warehouses where it goes just in time to the grocery stores for only 2 days. Like if there was some kind of highway disruption or something like that. So that is disrupted. So that again is causing us not to be able to get the food. Okay, and then what could happen is we could be in a FEMA type situation. So my customer worked for FEMA, but after the rescue was done, she came home to the house. But that's not going to be the case this time when the grid goes down. When and if. Say when. I think it's unrealistic. Okay, so now I want to talk about some stuff, and this is in no particular order. So that is some bad stuff. I am not saying stay up nights, make yourself sick with worry, but like from here, I know there's Otay Lake, I know there's water out by the Indian Casino, I know there's the ocean, which does get contaminated at times. I know there's Lake Murray, but if there's no water and everyone starts descending on that water, and then you're trapped with no gasoline to get out. Okay, one of the most important things is to plant a garden. So one of the things I am endeavoring to do is plant an indoor garden, because this year the garden, and it wasn't just my garden, because I saw it on the prepper channels, the gardens did not yield a very big harvest. So one guy had 3 pots of 3 potato plants each, and they yielded about 12 potatoes per pot. So think about 36 potatoes. That's not much. We're talking about no food. So I grew these little tomatoes and these potatoes, and for the first time I thought it was pretty good because, and I just planted my potatoes with eyes, and I thought it was pretty good because I can plant those. And then I noticed that I will be planting this, so learning how to do that. But the thing is like, is there a food shortage? Can you plant your sweet potato and wait? Well, you can plant the end with the sprouts on it. Okay, and the other thing is, like, not all of these are going to result in a potato plant. Evidently, that is kind of common. Okay, here's a nice fact. During the Depression, everybody's suffering lack, and the neighbors would steal the food out of the garden. I tend to believe that story because when I was a little kid, my grandmother lived in this pretty nice place, but somebody stole the letters. I will show you. Here is my grandmother's grandmother, Mary Ann Hafen. If you go to Bunkerville, you'll see Mary Ann Avenue. And on the corner was her house. They tore it down. I couldn't believe it. Okay, her husband, and he lived to be 100. Here he is. He went on a Mormon mission to Switzerland, and so at the time he went, I think he had 2 wives, and I think he came back with another wife. In fact, I think those children there are his children. He had lots of wives, including an Indian wife. So anyway, somebody stole the letters. Yes, and so it wasn't discovered right away. Something came up, and my grandmother discovered the letters were down. So thievery, you know, people are hungry, expect that. So that's why if you grow your food indoors, I'm moving all of my food indoors and on the balcony. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Okay, so that was, my grandmother used to say, like, the worst thing, if you were the worst thing, a dirty dog stole the letters. And so, like, it has always been my desire, if I die, I want God to tell me who the dirty dog was that stole the letters. That was a rotten thing to do. Also, my grandmother did have a photo of Joseph Smith. This came all the way across the plains Joseph Smith was incarcerated and shot to death, and they had a newspaper photo of him. One of the few. That's why I collect L. Ron Hubbard first edition books, because someday they'll be like the Joseph Smith stuff. I think one of the relatives has the Joseph Smith. I don't think that was stolen. Okay, Matthew 24, 6 through 14. Here's what to expect. Wars and rumors of wars, check. Now this is the big one, famine. Okay, what happens in a famine? The crops fail. So it's not because of transport or anything. Anything causes the crops to fail. And so what I'm seeing on the Prepper channel is their crops, one was saying 40% of his tomatoes didn't grow. I have tomatoes out there with no tomatoes. I had tomato plants where the flowers fell off. Earthquakes, yes, we're seeing some vicious ones. Okay, wars, rumors of wars, famines, earthquakes, these are the beginning of the birth pains. So what's going to happen is, this is what I think, things are going to get worse and worse. Have you guys noticed that you go, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. This is not happening. It's just like things are so incredibly rotten at times. Okay, okay, now as these birth pains get worse and worse, persecution and put to death and hated by all nations, followers of Christ. Okay, so far that's not too bad. Increase of wickedness. And when this wickedness, people are so wicked, there's no love for one another. We're going to just see like very, very wicked people. And then what we haven't seen is the kingdom will be preached to the entire world. So there are places that have yet to have, but as we have more of a worldwide internet, then eventually the entire world will hear the gospel. And it's to their discretion whether they want to listen or not. That's up to them. Okay, now now think about the grid down. This is what we want to think. We want to think a little bit before, but you know, like I said, just prepare little by little. A depression so severe that it will be like the olden days. So things won't go back to the way they are now. It will be a depression, and it will be so severe it was like before, like we were talking 1854. So we will have to rely on hunting and gathering. During the Depression, the people hunted for game, and there was no deer. There was no game. I could have trapped quite a bit of game in my backyard, but when people are hungry and they're having to capture animals like squirrel, like deer, like, you know, edible, like birds. Okay, so be thinking about gathering. Okay, if it was life and death, you could gather acorns. So you want to know, do I know where any acorns are? Well, I do actually happen to know where some are in San Diego, so that is very important to know. Shelter, okay, I would say in my mind, the most important thing you want to figure out is shelter, so that you don't end up out in the elements, so that you can grow food. Okay, tools and weapons, clothing. They say during the Depression, the main thing was underwear and socks. Fire for cooking. You don't want to, you cannot over a long period of time rely on propane. It's too expensive. There's not going to be money. Finding and storing water. So the best thing would be relocate to places that have a source of water. And some nice communities. I don't know if those will exist when things, maybe relatives, and medicine and healing. Okay, so now to the food. the most important thing is food. Okay, so think about milk and honey, like in the Bible. Okay, honey lasts forever, or sugar, but sugar, during the Depression, sugar was short. But out here we can buy, you know, big buckets of honey, and so one of the most important things we want to grow is soy, so that if something happens, we're growing crop after crop of soy, so we can have soy milk, we can have tofu, we can have, you know, soy burgers, but mainly soy milk. You think about tofu as cheese. And so you can also sell your soy plants and your soybeans. And then, you know, honey, so you have some sugar. Okay, wheat, so you can make bread or flour. Barley. Okay, now one of the things that barley was good for is it generated beer. But also your grape juice generates a wine. It also can be used like vinegar to keep you safe from bacteria and disease. And if you make sourdough yeast starter, that liquid is like beer as well, which could be important in the event that something rotten happens. So wheat, barley, so you can generate yeast, oil, lard, that is very important. During World War II, the people were so drastically starving, they consumed some motor oil. So we don't want to go there. Okay, and so then, now of these things, we want to say, can I grow these? Now these are, okay, wheat, barley, oil. Onions are fairly easy to grow. Garlic, easy, leeks. Lentils and fava beans can be sprouted from the beans, so you can grow those. Dates and figs, and it's very important to be able to grow raisins. So that was from the Egyptians. That's some of the best information on food. And then the pioneers were, okay, first of all, the story about the Mormon girl. She went to Mexico. There was no work. Her husband came up to the U.S. In the meantime, an old man came up to her and said, "Ma'am, your daughter is starving." And he gave her a bag of beans, a bag of rice, and he told her to plant a garden. So we have seeds in our food that we get all the time, but it doesn't, this is like my potatoes, it doesn't grow as successfully as, you know, you can buy the potato starters and stuff, but it will grow. So think about flour, oatmeal, and hardtack. Dried meat, salt, pork, bacon, beans, rice, dried fruit. My family had a big, huge pear tree in front of the house, bigger than the house, and they used to dehydrate the pears. Apricots, sugar, salt, and coffee. Okay, so now I want to give you a very important recipe, and it's nothing short of a miracle that I even have it. And what happened was, I was working in this salon, and they hired this young girl, and she was very, very hard up for money, and so we didn't get paid for 2 weeks, and I was afraid she was going to get fired before she could get to the 2 weeks. And I said, "Listen, I will lend you $30 if you give me your tamale recipe." I don't know why I asked her for a tamale recipe. So the next day she brought it in, and so I have always had this tamale recipe. So this is like, you want this recipe, like, so you won't starve if something happens. So this is a meat tamale recipe, but you can use green chilies, corn, and cheese, and you can make your cheese if you have milk. Just heat your milk, and when it's almost boiling, add lemon or vinegar, and it coagulates, and you'll have some soft cheese. Okay, put your meat in a big pot with water. Put 1/3 an onion, 2 pieces of garlic, and 1/2 bag of California red chilies, and cook for about 2 hours on low. Okay, she says buy your dough at this place, then add a big spoon of lard and a tablespoon of salt, and beat really good and let it sit for 5 minutes. So you can buy it, but I have the ingredients that you should have on hand, and learn how to make the tamale dough. It's not hard to make. It's not as good as the stuff you buy, but like, you won't starve. Cut some carrots, potatoes, and chilies into small slices. I mean like slivers. And then you put your tamale dough, your spoonful of, okay, so when the meat is done, you take your meat out and shred it, and then you take your liquid and your chilies and you grind them in the blender, and that's going to give you sauce. So you put your dough, your sauce, your meat, and then the potatoes, the onion, and the carrots raw, and you roll them up, and you you know, shut them with, so you tie them shut, or you can fold them, and then put your wrapped tamale in a big pot with about 2 cups of water. Cover and let cook for about 3 to 4 hours. And so the way we always figured out if they were ready is we just like ate one. Takes a while, so don't be in a rush. But the thing is, you can cook that over an open fire. I'm going to give you a shot of the recipe. Okay, this is a recipe that I got. These recipes are like 40 years old. We're all like 70 years old now. Okay, you have hamburger, onion, green pepper, tomato paste, red pepper powder with very little salt, and bar heart. That is a it is a spice usually you buy in the Mid-Eastern shop, and then you put it on a tortilla and bake 15 minutes. You buy them in the Mid-Eastern shop, but you know, this is how you can make yourself a tasty little sandwich that's pretty darn cheap. Get the tamale recipe, whatever you do, or at least have it in mind, because what you can do is you can make big pots of food for very little money, and you can put whatever you have in them. So a bag of rice, a bag of beans, and told to plant a garden. So we want to stockpile seeds. Best way is to save all the seeds out of your food, and when the season comes up, or just constantly buy stuff. I want to show you something in a minute. It is funny, this recipe popped into my mind, and what's really amazing is that I found it because I had all my recipes in a garbage bag. And so many times I thought of just going in the garage and just taking all the garbage bags and throwing them in the dumpster, and for some reason I didn't. Okay, so now if you want to make your own tamale dough, just take a look at this. First of all, people who make good tamale dough are very, very secretive about it. Very secretive. But once, this recipe reminds me a lot of the Navajo fry bread. So if you can make the Navajo fry bread, you'll be able to make the tamale. Just mix up your dough and let it set for like about 20 minutes before you put it in the, so 1.5 cups lard or shortening softened, 4 cups masa harina, and a lot of times they have the dough recipe on the bag. 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 tablespoon salt, and 3 3/4 cups warm chicken stock or water. So you beat the shortening. I've heard wild stories about this too. And then you add the dry ingredients, and then you add the wet ingredients. And you're gonna come up with a nice soft, you want it soft enough so you can kind of lay it like, think about peanut butter, like that. All right, I have some recipes I wanna give you guys. All right, this is the old-fashioned tamale casserole. I'm just gonna let you take a screenshot. This is the way we used to make it a long time ago. And the thing about this is it makes a lot. So you'll get like a 9-inch by 13-inch pan full of food. And it's not too expensive, and it's really a good tamale. Like if you gotta go to a potluck or something, you can cut nice big pieces. And then let me give you the these recipes. Old-time soft sugar cookies, Rocky Road brownie bars, easy to do fudge, and butter almond crunch. I don't know how old these recipes are, but I thought I would give them to you guys. I'm going to be giving you the recipes as I find them. I'm going to be cooking them too. Today I made myself an omelet late, so that's why I didn't. I'm getting good at the omelets. All right. Now the main thing, the most important thing to do is to stockpile food. So today I went to Ralph's, and the reason I went is I went to get, I like their Greek yogurt. So if you have 1 Greek yogurt and 1 can of evaporated milk in your stockpile, you can make this size of a yogurt. So I bought this this snack tray, and the reason is I ate all the carrots and the broccoli, and I had leftover salad dressing, and the salad dressing is more than worth the money, but also, you know, you get these. I bought a salad kit marked down. I never pay full price. There's no such thing as a cheap tomato, and half of the time they're not that good. Really not. But if you like tomatoes. And then I bought 2 packages of gravy. These come in handy if you have chicken and rice. And I bought a block of cheese. Okay, this was key for making good. So what I did is I bought the cheese marked down for $3.39. Marked down from sometimes it tells you and sometimes it doesn't. But this is good cheese, and so my omelet was a lot tastier. So the yogurt was $1.19, the 2 packages of gravy 99¢ each. Then I bought 2 packages of sugar-free Jell-O so that I can go sugarless pretty much painlessly. The package of cheese, the salad kit, the tomato was $1.29, and so that was $14.50. So that wasn't too bad. That was quite a bit of food that's going to help me cook down the food I have. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this is important. Okay, I bought this little ginger jar, but look at my one thing that did grow good was the peppers. These are some kind of like Japanese peppers, but if you're going to cook the tamale meat and you have like a California pepper and these peppers, your tamale meat's gonna, and your sauce is gonna taste really good. My son said, eat the potatoes. I go, no, that's my seed. And then so what I did was I cut the top off of my pepper plant, and here's the rest of it. So now I will replant this and it'll go on the balcony. So those are some examples of trying to grow some indoor food. So just start out, and then you can grow your green onions. Just put the roots in down, cut it off, and grow it. Romaine lettuce, radishes grow year round. I'll be growing some of those, and I'll show you. And start saying to yourself, do I honestly think that we're going to be exempt from any of this rotten stuff I mentioned happening? Hopefully not. I'm 70 years old, and I've been lucky. A lot of the other people I know have not been so lucky. In fact, it's been really, really bad. So just start, especially like if you're older. I want to tell you something about walking. Today at the gym, one of the men had heart surgery, and his heart surgeon told him, you have to walk 45 minutes a day, 6 days a week. And I thought, yeah, so do I. I took a picture of myself after 1 year at the gym. It's on my Instagram. Okay, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And God bless you all.